Station to Battleship, we are live.
Is that a question? Was that a statement?
It was a statement.
Okay.
Didn't you hear the static on the radio?
I did. I heard the static.
We just basically landed on the moon.
Agreed. We did land on the moon.
Yeah.
And that moon is fun on a Monday night.
Yeah, welcome to the running mullet, I guess, once again.
Yeah.
Shows just keep getting tacked on. Your face just keeps showing up.
Every single week, you're going to keep having to look at my face.
Yeah,
this
trust
mug,
me.
right
you don't
here.
have to tell me. These are the facts that I have a hard time swallowing.
Yeah, that's all right. You'll swallow it and you'll like it. So, How was your weekend?
I need a second from that one. My weekend was good.
You set me up.
I had Lauren and Casey had a meet on Saturday, which was all day event because it was far away and big.
Yeah.
And Sunday, I have a lean-to on the back of my garage now, which is amazing.
Your shed?
My shed.
Yeah.
So in the winter, when it's raining and snowing, you have a dry spot that I won't let you use, but it's there if I did let you use it.
Gotcha. Okay. I can look at it. Can I look at it?
I mean, just avert your eyes, honestly. No. You can go by my description. That's about it. It's too nice. I'll probably tape it off and say, do not look.
Got it. Just me or anybody?
Mostly you. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
To be honest.
Thank you.
But that was that summed up my weekend. Yeah. Okay. You? What do we do?
Fun weekend. My daughter and her girlfriend came over to visit because they wanted to go see 21 Pilots at Hershey Park. Like Hershey, they have concerts at Hershey Park. So they went to go see 21 Pilots, and so they were here this weekend, and we carved pumpkins, and it was a lot of fun.
You know who else was it just at Hershey, and I didn't even realize it? I think Sunday. Adam Sandler. What the heck? I would love to see it.
Okay.
Getting off topic, but yeah.
Yeah.
You carved pumpkins.
Yes.
It's September 29th. It's too early.
Well, I mean, she was in town. She lives in Detroit. I don't get to see her very often.
Okay. That gives you a free pass. So you were taking advantage of the time. I got it.
Yeah.
Cool. I wish you would have brought your pumpkin on the show.
I'm sorry. My pumpkin, his name is Patrick. He is out on my porch right now.
Does he have a candle in him? No,
not yet. I forgot to get a candle.
All right, let's start the show. Enough of pumpkin talk. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let me make sure I'm ready here. Okay. Grayce, our guests tonight just finished Divide 200 in Alberta, and I want to hear about the adventure and more. So let's make them give the details on episode 134.
I'm Eric, Idiot Runner Kosek.
And I'm Grayce, Hot Pants Langheim. Eric is all business in the front of the pack, and I am all about the party in the back.
That's right, business up front and party in the back. Together, we are the Running Mullet.
And we are going to talk about every aspect of running, the podium to the DNF and everything in between.
If you are a runner, this show is for you. Now sit back, get out your foam roller, and enjoy the party.
I can feel all of my face. It's Monday. Our guests, I'm really excited about, and I'm really nervous. You're not supposed to meet your heroes, right? And
well, you see me every week on Monday.
That is true, but I feel like I still don't know you, so it's like we haven't met yet every week.
You don't know me. I'm a book with so many chapters. You've just read that. What's the back thing
inside
called?
Cover.
Yeah. I like
That's it.
Preface or something. What do they call that? Yeah, that's me. Like you don't even know, Grayce.
I don't even know. I don't even know. So we're gonna have Karmell on, and we have Lee Connor here, and I'm so excited. And between the two of them, they've done like 500 million 100 milers, and also inspired many, 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 many people male and female in the running community, and that's super cool. And if you are on Facebook in any one of the running groups, then you'll probably see comments from them. Anytime somebody asks a question and says, hey, what should I do about X? Then you get really good advice from them. And I think that's awesome. And they just are amazing people. And I'm super excited to have them on. They just finished the Divide 200.
Well, why don't you click the button that brings them on then?
In Canada. I'm nervous. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Welcome,
guys.
ladies. Welcome.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes, congrats on Divide 200. That is a 200-mile race, kind of similar to the stuff in the States. I mean, it's giant mountains, big ascents, big descents, beautiful views. Alberta is amazing. I saw a moose when I was there. Did you guys see any moose?
We didn't. That is one. We did not see a moose.
So when we were
disappointed.
we were heading back. I think it was after the race, but we were heading to the lodge where the start and finish is, and like 3 miles before the lodge, we're driving along, and my wife Becky, she says, "There's a moose," and so I stopped the car and I back up, and this moose had its head completely underwater in this drainage pond. So it led us like back right up to it, and it was like, I don't know, 15 yards away. And then as soon as it lifted its head out of the water, it freaked out. But those are very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I've run into them other places, but not at this race.
Well, I mean, like Maine has moose and stuff like that, but they're not nearly as big either. Not that it's still not cool that they're up there, but Alberta moose is like gigantic compared to what we have in the States. So it's pretty neat. So anyway, the Divide 200. When did you guys sign up for this and why?
I signed up because of her.
I've got to say, I was sucked in by like the video. I don't even remember how I stumbled across it, but like somehow I saw their little ad video and I was like, ooh, but I've been sucked in by ads before because they always show you, you know, the best, the most beautiful scenery. And I'm like, well, what if this is another trick? And, you know, this is just, you know, one small little section of the course. But at the same time, I watched that video like 100 times and I was like, oh, I think I have to do it. And, you know, we had both sworn off 200s before that, but it just lured me in. And then, you know, I started to pull up stuff on it and I was like, this sounds pretty good. So we signed up. We registered right when it opened, actually. So I think, was that December? I want to say.
Trying to get through work day, and she sent me video of the course.
Nice.
Yeah.
So was your both of your intentions all along to run together?
No,
absolutely not.
Our intentions is specifically not. No, because
Really?
our first 200 we did, and then our second one we did, and we DNF'd. And the troubles that we had in both of them were managing sleep and nutrition, and it's really difficult to be with someone. It'd be different if it was you and I don't really know you, but we just happen to sync up, you know, halfway through. That's different. Starting with someone with the intention of staying with them, when you personally have a connection to them, means that part of you is trying to look out for them and gauge their needs versus your needs. It's a complication. And solving nutrition and sleep issues in a 200 is nightmare hard. It's way harder than in 100. It's already hard in 100. So if you can solve it yourself if you really focus. But you can't be distracted. And it's distracting to be with another person who you're attached to, who you're trying to watch for signs they're having trouble. So we decided if we were ever going to do 200s again, because there's one we kind of want revenge on because we DNF'd it, we have to, that we want to do together, but we have to individually sort out our stuff and have ourselves in order.
Yeah.
Individually.
Self-sufficient, but moving together.
Yeah, because there's a difference between leaning on someone and being self-sufficient, and they're self-sufficient, and you're like, oh, but we're good company.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Whenever anybody asks me about running a long ultra together, specifically hundreds, it's, you know, when I say together, I mean like friends running together to accomplish it. The idea is a lot, like, I think it's kind of what you're saying. The idea is a lot easier and sounds a lot more fun than what it may turn into be. Mainly for the fact, the biggest thing that always pops in my mind is like, if Lee is in a really bad low, that doesn't mean you are too.
Exactly.
that's really hard to, it sounds like, oh, well, we can deal with that when the time comes, but that's not how running works. You're in a totally different mindset. You could be negative per se, and the other one might be on the highest of highs at that point. So
Exactly. Yeah.
maybe you can help each other when it's like that, I guess. But I always find it's just another challenge to a 100-mile race that's already challenging.
Well, I think that was tied into to my decision making and wanting to do this one alone. The last couple that we ended up running together, that's kind of how it was. She wasn't putting in calories and so on. It was getting really frustrating for me, like really holding me back. And I'd be like, hey, calories, and she just and not put anything in, and it was just getting more and more, just hard to deal with because I wasn't in that spot. And like for me, this is like, Divide was one that I was scoping. It was a bucket list race for me at that point. So it was like, do we really want to do that again? But at the same time, we've also had races we've run together that we really, really enjoyed, and it brought us closer together. And it was really nice to be able to share that experience together. So, it was all things to consider.
Eric, you've run lots of ultras at this point, right? So do you notice there are spots where I was bad at nutrition, and then I got a really good handle on it. I got really good at my nutrition, and then I got comfortable in the fact that I was good at it, and then I stopped thinking about it, and then I slowly got worse and worse and worse and worse. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm one of those people that falls off my calories for hours at a time and passes out on the ground. Oh no. So now I'm like, I'm going to be on it. So Divide, I was the most awake, alert with it person because I was on my nutrition. Same with Hard Rock and Cruel Jewel this year. I was on my nutrition. I'm back on I must focus. But it's just weird. I feel like it's just like with pacing. I'll pace like an intelligent person for 7 or 8 races in a row, and then I'll get comfortable. I'm good at pacing. I don't have to think about that. And then I will overpace something like an idiot. Yeah. And hurt myself. Yeah. And then I'll be like, oh, got to learn the lesson again. It just seems to roll in these cycles. I can't permanently learn it. Yeah. I get comfortable.
Yeah. These little overconfident cycles.
Yeah.
Well,
so sabotage and so on.
As far as the nutrition goes, I obviously it's one of the most important parts of your training and the running of these ultras. But currently I'm focusing on it and putting a much more importance to it than I ever have. In that, I'm laying out nutrition exactly how it's going to go, knowing that okay, things might have to change a little bit, but it's just, I guess I'm just super hyper focused on it right now, more than I ever have been in the 12 years or whatever I've been running.
That's where I'm at right now. And Divide went well for me. My feet hurt, and I had some physical problems, feet and ankle problems, and hurt myself a little. But nutrition, it was on point. And it's the only I would notice it would start to hurt a little more, and I'd just eat more, and it would hurt less. And I intellectually know that that's how this works. I always tell people your blood sugar's low, it makes your pain nerves fire more. But yeah, it's true.
All right.
So I want to.
Go ahead, Grayce. Go ask your question.
I want to hear more about nutrition. So you just briefly mentioned this about nutrition being different in 100 versus a 200 miler. So I know people are anxious to hear more about that. So how is nutrition different between the two?
Was it different for you?
So much more eating. I think it's more. I felt like I had to eat more solid food and just keep up with it more. It's like I feel like in 100, I'm just slightly falling behind a little bit every hour, but by the time it gets really bad, you're just about done by the time that all accumulates into disaster. Right. Whereas in a 200, it's you just can't get away with as much skimping on the calories when you don't feel like eating. So I think it was just more about finding the things that go down and just really staying on top of getting them down. But then also at the aid stations, especially just trying to get that real food in more, which I don't really eat real food during, hot food. And so on, like mashed potatoes during 100, never. But during a 200, it just felt more important for sure.
I think at Cruel Jewel in the spring, just by way of example, I had a banana or two during the race, and that is it for solid food, right?
Mhm.
At Divide, I ate solid food at every single aid station. And I don't mean like a bite or two. Like one of them, I had 4 separate cups full of mashed potatoes and also like a hash brown and something else. Like I had like 2 granola bars
There
in
were
one of
so
them.
many
and another hash brown.
potatoes.
Well, potatoes are good for you. And so, but I had some granola bars and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually ate an entire cheeseburger at one aid station when we were planning to sleep. I had a
I
cheeseburger and
Those are
passed
the
the heck
best.
out.
Yeah. They have vegan
But
sausages.
in hundreds, no. Hard Rock, I ate like 3 pierogies, a couple bananas, and like I think a half a peanut butter and jelly. And otherwise, it was just gels and liquid. And in fast hundreds, like if I know I'm running under 30 hours, Roctane, and a handful of gels. I'm
Yeah.
not
What
gonna
kind-
eat.
what
But
kind
at
of gels?
200, I stack and rotate them. So Muir, and then I like the Muir with the caffeine at night. I like the cashew lemon during the day and the vanilla cashew at night. It's so boring though. I like the lemon flavor hummus because they go down really easy, but I can't eat a lot of them. And then I will put those for at night when I'm trying to change socks and shoes. I will put those. What are they? The untapped. It's just maple syrup, but I like the one that it's been like coffee beans soaked in it.
Yep.
So I'll put them in with my sock change so that when I open my bag and take off my wet socks and put alcohol gel on my feet so they can dry, then I will drink one of them while I'm letting my feet dry. It's dumb, but it's like just that other 100 calories.
Yeah.
We recently discovered Enervits. Is that what they're called?
Enervit mango.
They are just
I don't want to tell you
magic.
guys. They're
Like
160
even
calories.
I mean, even in the heat
Nice.
of Western states, they went right down.
Enervit
Like
mango,
it's just
yeah.
they are my new
So I
new
rotate
favorite.
through.
So I
Really?
do
I've
that
seen
and the
them.
Mortons.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not a gel
Magic.
consistency. They're more like a juice, and they're just so easy to just at least for me.
Oh no,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
We don't agree on all of our stuff. but
No,
that's-
yeah, I don't
So
like the
rotate through
mirrors.
a bunch of brands and flavors like that. But my
And
favorite
what's
is
the what's
you
the best
take
flavor of those Enervits?
mango.
Mango.
Citrus is okay, but the mango is the
Mango
special
sounds
flavor.
amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no,
Oh,
I will
yeah.
I will do this thing where I will take the lemon cashew muir because they're kind of sticky and kind of thick.
Yeah.
But all of the lemon flavors from Huma are very acidic, so you have to rinse your mouth after. So what I'll do is I'll take the muir and squish it all in my mouth and try to get it down, but half of it coats your mouth, and then I'll immediately follow it with the Huma, which then dissolves it away. And then I just rinse my mouth with water after, and it's like 250 calories, bam, with just enough fat.
That's
to
why
kill
I
you.
don't like them.
So-
A gel that needs to be chased by another gel.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you force that combination,
That's
which
how bad it is.
Okay, but it takes me like a minute and a half, and then that's 250 calories that included some fats. I'm good for the next hour. I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works for you.
You know.
Mhm.
So it's. But then I won't do that again for another 3 hours because then the next hour I'll have an Enervit and some drink, and then I'll have I just rotate through the things.
Yeah. Nice.
So did you guys stay together the whole race then or not?
Yeah. So what happened? Well, not
Not
exactly.
day one.
Yeah. Not exactly. It's just that we ended up leapfrogging a little bit, and we ended up at each of the first 5 checkpoints at the same. Like she'd
Overlapping.
get there first, but like we'd be in the checkpoint at the same time. Like I'd get to the checkpoint and she was there. So it was like we were just by the time we got to checkpoint that we were approaching checkpoint 6, which I want to say was around 91 miles. And on day 2, by that time it was just like.
She was
We're
like,
pretty
she's
much
like,
running
what
this
are you-
together, right? It was like, yeah, I think Lee said to me like, oh, so do you want to, maybe leave checkpoint 6 together on purpose?
Well, because she said, well, I'm going to stop at this checkpoint for a minute. I'm going to try
was
to
cute.
take a nap and change socks. And I was like, yeah, me too. And she's like, well, I'm going to do this and this. I was like, that's about the time I plan to spend there. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. I'm like, well, so like, should I check to see if you're awake when I go?
It was
Should
cute.
we-
It was like she was asking
should
me
we
on a
check
date or
in?
something. I think she was afraid of getting rejected because I'd been so frustrated about the last 2 races.
Probably. Yeah, so like
No.
middle school.
But I wasn't gonna if we were running the same pace, I wasn't gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
you go over there and
Yeah.
just let's pretend
Well,
we're not.
Don't look at
together.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we'll ever plan
As
to
we
run-
leapfrog over and over.
I don't think we'll
Yeah.
ever plan to run a 100-miler on purpose.
No, we usually don't plan hundreds together.
Yeah, just the 200s.
Just the 200s.
Yeah.
Did running together. So what's aid station 6? You said aid station 6. How many miles in was that?
I think about 91 miles, if I'm not mistaken,
It's somewhere
right?
between 85 and 95.
So did anything go, as far as the race goes for each of you and like how it went, do you think that staying together was a huge benefit, or like was there any chance you think either of you wouldn't have done as well not staying together, or did it just pretty much flow from there?
No, I think we both managed this one well. I think we were both pretty hell-bent on managing this one well, and I think we were doing it. I think it's just about having a shared experience, and especially, I think especially with such a small field, you'd be out there a whole lot of alone, which usually is, I love being out there alone for like hundreds. I love being alone in the night. I love not seeing anybody for hours, but for a days long race, that could be probably a long time to be alone. But I mean, I think especially to like, share it with your person is like, not to get all sappy, but it's like, not only are we together, but it's like also my best friend. So it's like to have, to be like we saw a mountain lion, out in court. Like I would have been really sad if she hadn't been there for the mountain lion. I don't know. Actually, I might have gotten eaten by the mountain lion.
You might not have seen the mountain lion.
Who knows? They might have pounced on.
That was out on her feet. This is like one of the small lulls. Like I had a couple lulls where I was kind of, you just watch the feet in front of you. Yeah. She was in one of those.
Yeah, that was my witching hour.
Staying awake when I eat enough. And so she was watching my feet and I was looking for the next reflector. And I thought I saw it and I started down towards it. And then I looked up at it again from my feet and it was eyes. And then it moved. And I initially was like, I've been tricked before. It's probably just a deer. And then it moved enough that I could see the body shape. And I was like, oh, just stop moving forward. But she was behind me 10 feet. So then I was like, hey, hold on. Just point your headlamp over there. Both like, oh, that's a big cat.
Yeah.
So then we just backed up.
Deer.
And we found out that actually the race reflectors were off to the other side and we could go around it. We waited on the next, but then we saw a solo light coming up behind us. So we waited on that runner for another, but it's like a minute. But I mean, come up so we could all go around together.
To be clear though, we love that stuff. And it's like, it's nicer to have like somebody to talk about it with, it to be like, remember when we saw the mountain lion?
I remember the coyote that came jogging towards us. It was just confused. It wasn't aggressive.
Yeah.
It was like coming towards us and it was like, oh, like right as we started to back up, it also freaked out and ran the other way.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Any other wildlife?
What's that?
Any other wildlife?
The coyote. Oh, yeah, nothing big. Yeah, there was a reroute because of a grizzly bear, but we didn't get to see any grizzly bears, which is crazy because there's like grizzly bear scat all over this course. Like we saw plenty of that. We're like putting my foot next to it for a picture for scale. We're like, look at that. But we did not see any grizzly bears. But yeah, there was a reroute due to an aggressive grizzly bear on course. But yeah, that was the only wildlife we saw.
Okay. Favorite moment from the race?
Oh, that's hard. That's a hard one, Grayce.
It was a wet one, right? Did you guys get rained on?
The last day was rain almost all day. But the
last day, it was the day before that it rained. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what just happened. There was like when you did that, balloons just went.
I don't know what I did either. Balloons went across.
That's great.
No idea how we did that. Maybe we'll do it again. I do think it was so there was a lot of rain and our rain jackets failed, which is another story. So we got really cold, really miserable. We did get trash bags and ponchos that helped remedy that situation, but it seemed like it was going to rain for the rest of the race. And when you get up to the point, you're in the last 20 miles. What's that pass called that has the coin? Oh, I forget the name of the pass.
Me too.
So there's, they do the coin where there's this, you go up this pass and there's a box full of coins and you have to get your coin and take it to the finish line. And it was just crazy. I mean, you couldn't have planned it better. It's like, as we approached that pass, like it stopped raining and the clouds just like parted and the sun's just like coming down as we're like running up the pass to get our coin. And it was just like sudden end of race energy. I think you had what, like 20 miles left at that point. It was end of race energy, but then we eventually lost the end of race energy because that last 20 miles is forever. But
that wasn't even the last aid station, was it?
Yeah, second last aid station.
Yeah,
but still, nonetheless, we get that
you
boost.
get from the second last aid station, it's like another like 14 or 15 miles to the last aid station, and then another 16 to get from the last aid station to the end. So like you're almost there. There's one aid station to go after this. It's just 35 miles. Don't worry about it.
No, it's not quite that far. But yeah, I think that was my
but it is nearly a 50K though.
I think that's my
50K.
but I think, I mean, for me, I think that was just a really cool moment, the way that timed out, where the rain stopped, the sun comes up, and you kind of get that end boost, get your coin, and you feel like, you know, at that point, you know, you're going to finish. There's just like, unless something really, really bad happens to you,
There's
like
barely any
a
road
broken
access.
bone or something,
No.
you know you're going to finish, you know the time's on the clock, and you're kind of in the home stretch.
It's so remote. There's no one to come get you. Like
you got
unless you need medical evac, you kind of just have to hike it in as long as you're ahead of the cutoffs right there. There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Because that second to last aid station, there's no drop bags, there's no road access. That was the one that they were driving the, what'd you call it, a side-by-side out to. So you can't get taken out of that aid station unless it's a true emergency.
Wow.
And then you're at the last aid station, and like they're not going to let you drop there. So
get out eventually. So Lee, how about you? What was your favorite moment?
That probably sums it up. Yeah, I thought the coin thing was kind of goofy because I think stuff like that is kind of goofy because it reminds me of D&D and being a kid. But that whole like climb up to where they do the coin thing and the sun coming out right then was pretty fantastic.
The other thing is we love bombing technical down, and I think we were afraid to do it for the whole race because 200s aren't our jam. We're not very experienced at them. So, you have that fear of, I'm going to blow myself up, that kind of thing. And I think at that point, when we got the coin, there was some technical down, and we just, at that point you have like 20 miles, less than 25 miles left. And we're just like, So we just took off and went for it and just start passing a few people. And just, it was nice to just be able to let go for a little bit.
Nice.
Very cool. That's a big race. So congrats to both of you.
Thank you.
That was really hard. We have video of us quitting 200s from halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
We had a talk and we looked at the phone camera and we gave up to anything over 100 miles, like anything longer than Fat Dog, anything requiring past a second night. No more than 2 nights. We logicked our way and we decided we're never, ever, ever doing that again. It's all stupid. But since we're on this course, we might as well keep hiking. And we videoed it. And then the day after the race, we went out to eat and had a whole conversation about going to Swiss Peaks next summer. So clearly, just had low blood sugar.
It's happening. we got to get our vengeance on Swiss Peaks.
Such a cool race.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds typical. You always say the stuff that you don't mean during the race, but then a week later, different person.
So I have so many more questions, but my last one for the divide specifically, what advice do you have out there to anybody who is looking at that race or is going to be doing it next year?
One, that they should do it. I would say be prepared for that big aid station caps, though. Like, you got to be prepared to be self-sufficient, be prepared to carry a lot. I mean, that's the only way I could see having a good race, like at first it's like, as I'm packing my calories, it's like, oh, this just seems like so much, but it's more than I'm used to, but like, it was worth it, that. I mean, it takes longer than you think to get from aid station to aid station. You're out there for hours without aid.
It's a moderate elevation gain, but it's going to take a minute. And unless you're super fast, it's going to take a minute. And it's front loaded on the hills. I would say also go run some hundreds uncrewed because these gaps are so big that if you're used to having crew at 100 milers and your buddies are meeting you every like 8 to 12 miles and you're constantly getting all this attention and support, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like you need to go run some hundreds with no crew and no pacer, because you have to get through lots of hours before you can pick one up. If you are not a person, if you're like, I don't know about that, maybe this kind of 200 isn't for you, because you're going to be having a lot of alone time, a lot of counting on strangers, and a lot of just huge gaps. Man, I drank out of creeks. I sat on a couple logs. Like it definitely is. And we both usually run hundreds, no crew, no pacer. So it's not quite as weird. But I think if you're used to that constant support, it's a problem. And even a lot of the 200s that I've seen in the lower 48 have a lot more access, and you come into aid and there's like all these crew vans and they have access much more frequently, so that you're constantly getting this input of people and encouragement. If that's something that you're counting on, this is going to be a rough race. And then it's just going to be hard, period. 200s are hard. It's so hard to keep your calories up. It's so, like, I have to view now eating as like doing a rep of speed work that I don't want to do. I have to like chew and swallow like it's speed work that I'm doing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. And people are like, what about when you don't want to? I don't want to do my next repeat of speed work either.
No, that's good advice for sure. It is a different animal, not only being 200, but with the aid station gaps. Makes you realize how easy we have it down here with certain hundreds and things like that.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Aid stations every 5 miles, and
yeah. And with any race, even if you do have crew and pacers, I think you always got to have a backup plan for your pacer getting sick at the last minute, and your crew gets a flat tire and they're not there. So what are you going to do?
Absolutely. And we say that all the time in our project group, like our training group. We tell people all the time, like, you've got to be prepared. It's insane to me the way people will rely on their crew to just have all their stuff, and they don't even have their drop bag properly packed because they just think their crew's going to be there. And it's not the flat tire is not a hypothetical. Like, it's not
right.
Like, I think people think that's like a far reach. Like, oh, you're just, no, like, it happens a lot because what it takes to get to those aid stations, sometimes beat up roads and,
I remember
dirt roads. And
I was crewing Yeti 100 and driving on this back road, and there was a car in a ditch. And it was a crew, and they weren't there at the moment. They left the car, but like it definitely happens, especially if you're in a place where you don't really know that well, and there's not a lot of crews out there. So you did mention the project, which is the Women's 100 Miler Project, which I think is just amazing, and I want more people to know about it. So they can participate or donate or do all the things, because this is a pretty cool project. So can you talk about it quick?
Yes, absolutely. The Women's 100 Miler Project is so hard to talk about it quick. But I mean,
not quick, take all the time.
Yeah. I mean, basically what it is, it started with, it started with just this idea of, as a video project. It was just going to be like a video project of mine where I took one person and we put them through Lee's training, because I'm so passionate about the kind of training we do, where it's like emphasis on strength training, get rid of the junk miles, like stop all that extra volume that's just going to get you hurt, focus on the strength, and, do practical targeted training. And so I thought, if I could do this video project, documenting one woman going through this training for a year, like maybe I could get more women interested in running 100 milers. Mm-hmm. And then once we got one person, we were kind of like, oh, if it's a video project, we're going to want to have like maybe 3 people, backup people, because somebody might drop out, life happens. And long story short, it's like, basically we ended up with, once I started looking for people, we ended up with this whole influx of people wanting to do this. And I realized there's no shortage of women who want to run 100 milers. There's a shortage of women who feel like they have that paved path to go do it, that to know the way. It's so overwhelming to go and like ladies tour and ask a question, and get like 100 different responses. And most of them are completely unqualified, opposed to, Lee, who has, finished over 60 100-milers, who has
Mhm.
done her research, inside out. And so basically what we did is we just decided to just open up this whole group to everyone. So we did do like the little video project, but also we opened it up to all these women on the side. And I dropped like a little teaser and ladies tour. And within a week, I think we had like 200 members. It was crazy. And then
Mhm.
now we have about 700. We just keep trying to grow it. But basically it's providing resources, all the things you need to know, the most important topics, the things that are the biggest cause for DNFs, like trying to kind of arm people against that, like sodium, hydration, nutrition, even like stomach acid. Like we have like a resources section on stomach acid and taking Tums and just all of that stuff that like you wouldn't necessarily know you don't know, you don't know what you don't know kind of deal. And then the training plan to go with it. And it's just, we basically want to get as many women to the start line as possible, but we want to also get them there just as equipped as possible and empowered as possible and ready to take on that 100. And we've had a lot of success. I'd say we've had, oh gosh, 100, 200. I don't even know any. It's hard to keep track of how many women have finished, but over 100 women, I would say, since we started the project in, I think, 2022.
Yeah, because it was that thing where there was yet another survey. I remember we got another one of those surveys. Why aren't women in 100-milers? Why are there more men than women? And people just kept sending around surveys.
Yeah.
And surveys are not increasing participation. And we're like, well, when we talk to friends, they're like, it's probably too far. I don't think I have time to train for it. Well, you trained for a 50-miler, so you're wrong. You do. Well, I wouldn't know what to do about that. And there's this other stuff. And I don't know if I would have. So it was like, oh, well, maybe if we just share the information in a supportive fashion, maybe that'll help. And it has.
Yeah. And we have the Facebook group to go with it so that like people can ask questions in there. And, just basically we try to answer all of that, like whatever we can, whatever comes up, and kind of be guides for how to use the training plan.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And I think, you're right. You don't know what you don't know. And so the bulk of the resources out there are either marathon training plans that people try to extrapolate into a 100-miler training plan, which doesn't work.
Exactly.
Or it's like podcasts and articles that are largely written by one man and two men at the front of the pack. Exactly. And it's hard to take that plan and then extrapolate it into what for some women is going to be a 30-hour plus 100-miler, which is fine. They just want to finish. A lot of them, they don't necessarily need a sub 24 hour. Not to say that women can't do it, just that there's all abilities out there, right? So a 36-hour 100-miler is not going to be the same training plan as a front of pack male.
You absolutely get it. Yes.
Yeah. And so I think like if that's what's available out there, then well, yeah, absolutely, that's intimidating, and those don't make any sense for a lot of people, and I would say a lot of males out there too, right? So if we can put out these resources for here's how to train for a 100-miler that's going to take you 36 hours, and here are good races to choose if you know you're going to be at the middle back of the pack and you want to have a little more assuredness that you have the time to get there, So I think just expanding the availability of different resources than what has traditionally been out there is just a huge help, because you can finish a 100-miler off of a 4-day training schedule. It can be done.
Absolutely.
A 5-day training schedule. And that's a lot more realistic than what you see at the front of the pack, where, these runners who it's not just male front of the pack, but it's often people who've been running since they were middle schoolers, right? So they've been running middle school, high school, running.
No.
Well, maybe not you, Mr. Kosak. You started in your 30s.
About just me. I'm saying I don't think you can group that where you're going with that, because
I'm not putting them all together.
there's elites that are not even elites, but the front, when you talk about, I don't know why we're even talking about front and back of the pack. We're all runners,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
towards the front has nothing to do with running since high school.
I'm not saying they all have, but there are a good amount of runners who've been doing it a long time, and it's hard to jump. You see these people who are amazing and you're like, oh, wow, I'm 25, they're 25, but this other 25-year-old has been doing it for 10 years. And that does make a difference, I think, with just having experience.
Well, I think also like what you were saying, the training for somebody like a male elite runner, somebody who's trying to be a male elite, it's not even practical for somebody who's just trying to finish a 100-miler with a full-time job. Like we both have full-time jobs. Like we're trying to, make a training plan that fits people's lives where it doesn't take away so that they have. We got the thumbs up. So that it doesn't take away from everything else, like so that you have that training life balance, because you're not trying to be an elite, right? You don't need to run 100-mile weeks. And some of these training plans that you pull offline are just absolutely insane, and they get people hurt.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is like, you can run a 100-miler with a 40-hour a week job and a family and all the other responsibilities. You don't have to have the time that some people think you need in order to do it. And yes, some of us would love to have that time to see what we could do with it. I think all of us would agree that we would like to have more time to put more time into the sport we love, but that's not going to happen like those elite runners that get paid to run. So it's the balance and showing people that you can do these big things with limited time, and doing the right things with that limited time is important.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I see that's getting people hurt, it's not just the work family running balance is really important, but also people will look at mileage instead of time. If it's an easy recovery run and you went over 60 minutes, it's probably not easy. If you went over 90 minutes, it is not an easy run anymore. I don't care how much you kept your heart rate down. The stress and strain on your body when you are running 60-mile weeks or less of going and doing 90 minutes on Monday as your recovery run is not equivalent with a recovery run. You need to be staying under 60 minutes. So when you start looking at miles and ignoring how much hill there is or what your pace is, you've either got to push your pace to something that is no longer fully aerobic, in which case you're not building aerobic base, and you're going to get an aerobic deficiency kind of problem where you can't stay aerobic past a fast walk, or you're going to be not truly recovering. And when you don't truly recover on your recovery runs or your easy runs, when you don't really let your body have those and also have days off, then you cannot actually push your hard runs. If you do not push your hard workouts, you will not improve. So what happens is that a lot of runners try to shrink down the elite plan, and they're doing a 5-mile recovery run when they're not in shape to run more than 35 or 40 minutes for recovery. And when they're not in shape to run past a 10-minute mile or an 11-minute mile for recovery. So they're doing an hour that they shouldn't be doing at a pace they shouldn't be doing, and calling it recovery because that's what's on that elite schedule. Because, you realize, like, just front of the pack, you might have someone who can keep their heart rate. They're doing 9-minute miles for 5 miles, which is a fine recovery amount of time. And they have a heart rate of 117 that whole time. They're fully aerobic. If you're not, it's not an ego thing. So I think that's the other difficulty. And that's why I think a lot of runners mid-pack and back, or just that it becomes important to look at the amount of time also. And I think that gets neglected in a lot of these training plans that I see online. That gets very neglected. And the second thing that's very neglected that new runners need, that experienced runners don't, and runners running high volume don't, is that you've got to get used to tired legs if you're going to be successful at 50 miles and up. You really, because you're spending a lot of hours of your life on tired legs trying to manage them. And if that alters your gait, you're going to wreck your feet and you're going to get hurt. You're changing your gait up. So you have to teach your body how to manage that. You have to make sure that you're not getting these problems when your legs are tired. In the case of somebody who trains 90 to 120 miles a week, this is not a problem. At that point, you are learning tired legs and your legs are used to that level of fatigue. For anybody else, what that means is you need to do a hard workout the day before a long run. Elite runners don't do that. Most elite runners will go do 20 miles on not very beat up legs. But if you're not going to be running that kind of high volume, then you need to go do your hill repeats right before your long run.
Yeah.
Or you need to do something to get your legs tired because you need to manage tired legs for the whole second half of your 100. So these are things that I think are differences that aren't just down to time. I think that just that work-life balance, the actual structure of training has to be a little different. And I also think shorter, higher intensity repeats are actually more important for aging mid-pack runners because there are systems you need to maintain. But most aging mid-pack runners are like, I'm not getting any faster, so why even push on it? But there are cell level systems of energy production that are not going to be real efficient if you don't. So those are the things that I think are also important to look at. That it's one of those deep dive things where if you don't want to go take physiology, you need someone to point it out.
Yeah.
In simple terms.
Yeah. I think it's great to have those resources available. And it's just a cool thing that you guys are doing is saying, well, okay, we know that the rate is low. We know that female participation in 100 milers is about 20%. So let's go do something about it. And it might not be the only solution out there, but let's do something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been pretty awesome, and we just try to keep growing it and keep getting the word out.
Nice.
Now, you two are Midwesterners. Originally from the Midwest?
Yep. We both the Cleveland, Ohio area.
I try to ignore that, but that's fine. I'm a born and bred Michigander. So I didn't tell you guys that.
I really cared about that.
Oh, is there like a
our identities don't seem to be based around state rivalries.
That's
the
word
battle.
I was
The
for.
battle. It's fine. I think it's more on our side in Michigan than
I was gonna say I didn't even know about it.
It's not as much the reverse. But you're from the Midwest, but you do a lot of races all through the United States, and you've done a lot on the Beast Coast, as we call it. And we often hear this conversation about what is the hardest 100 miler on the East Coast. So having done as many as you've done on the East Coast, settle it once and for all. What's the hardest 100 miler on the East Coast?
I'll let you think about that. I'll answer really quick. It was inaugural year Jigger Johnson.
Oh,
and I don't know I don't know why they did this. So inaugural year Jigger Johnson was absolutely insane. And they were like, hardest 100 miler. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. Hardest 100 miler in the United States. I'll give it to you. And the people who signed up for the first year didn't know what the heck they were getting themselves into. Giving them that too. There was an extremely high DNF rate. But the people who signed up for year 2 signed up because they heard how absolutely awful it was. But then they went and changed the course and made it easier. So it's an out and back up these crazy mountains. Like I think you went up 3 or 4 mountains. Absolutely insane 100 miler, and then just an out and back. So you did the same thing, but for year 2, they took out 2 of the climbs. I think it was 2 of the biggest climbs coming back, and they made it so much easier. So it's no longer the hardest 100 miler. Now it's just a hard 100 miler. But for inaugural year, I give it to them. That was crazy. We how many people started that one? I want to say over 50 people started, and only 14 finished, and I think 14 females started, and Lee and I were the only 2 to finish for that inaugural year. So it was a crazy one. And so I was last place. I was DFL, and I was also second place female. So that's the kind of race we're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy because everybody dropped out from in front of me. So I'm like, we did Crazy Mountain 2 or 3 weeks, Crazy Mountain 100 2 or 3 weeks before Jigger Johnson. So I was still beat up for Jigger Johnson. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in the back of the pack, just squeak in ahead of cutoffs. And I'm thinking I'm in last place, and it's like everyone dropped out from in front. I was in last place, but everybody dropped out in front of me. So I didn't realize until the turnaround where I should be seeing people coming the other way. And I'm like, why aren't the aid station should be right up here? Why am I not seeing anybody? It's because they all dropped. Nobody wanted to turn around. So that was a crazy one. Do you have a harder one other than inaugural year Jigger Johnson for 100 milers?
No, I don't. But then there are also things that are hard to finish. So, for example, Cruel Jewel has more climbing and horrible humidity than Eastern States. But Cruel Jewel gives you 48 hours. Eastern States has a lot less climbing, but not that much less, and worse footing and horrible, horrific, hot and humid also. They give you 36 hours. They'd be equal difficulty to finish if Eastern States gave you 40 hours, but they don't. They give you 36. Hellbender is also like that, where the gap between a pretty decent time, like if you look at like 10th place man, if you look at top 3 women, and then you look at where the cutoff is and you look at what that gap is, there's certain races for which that gap is not that big.
Yeah.
You know, like you got a 36-hour cutoff and you'll see the third woman finishing in like 29 hours.
Yeah.
Like
This is why we can't compare. There's too many facts.
so that's that factor of like harder to finish, or just because Cruel Jewel you can gut out. You want to go there and gut it out. They give you plenty of time. You can go and gut it out. You can take naps. But staying out on course for 2 nights can be trying. So that's a different kind of difficulty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both Hellbender and Eastern States are not going to let you stay out on course for 2 nights. You got to get it done.
I think that's the thing about inaugural year Jigger Johnson was it was like a combination of all the things. Like you didn't have time to screw around. You like it was like it's going to be the hardest course, but also you have to like keep moving. You move your ass. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's still fun though. It's fun to compare them all.
It is, and definitely, and then I sort of dislike the let's go be the toughest, because it results in races with cutoffs that aren't reasonable. The thing that's my current pet peeve though, actually, and I think it's actually the result of it is a negative impact on women more than men, although also on older male runners.
Yeah.
And mid-pack and back, which is people RDing races who don't really have much 100-mile experience and don't know how to manage pacing, who are making these cutoffs based on fast young guys who slow down a lot and still gut it out.
Yeah.
Some of us can actually run a steady pace the whole race and only lose an hour to the second half when we pace well. But the cutoff will be set up so that if you do that, you will get cut at the halfway for a race that you had plenty of time to finish, because they've decided it's a 36-hour cutoff, but we want the first half done in 14 hours.
Yeah, I don't think it's just around fast young guys, but they're making those early cutoffs around the put it in the bank mentality, which to me is the most ignorant mentality. I mean, it plagues our sport. Like there's just like, once somebody says it starts with the put it in the bank stuff, I'm like, yeah, you don't, you're not experienced. They can be experienced. A lot of them just run. I think most people unfortunately run hundreds that way. They run until they death march, and then they death march out the end. And that's not the most efficient way to do it. That's not the best way physiologically to do it. And RDs are catering to that. So that's, I think for
not most, but there are a handful out there who are doing it.
Yeah. It depends on the race.
There's a handful out there who are doing it.
No, I'm saying most people. I thought that's what you meant. I say most of the field at a lot of races. Yeah. I think that's a big pet peeve for me.
And I think like there's something to be said for, as a race director, like wanting at least some of the runners to experience a good amount of the course. As hard as World's End 100K is, as hard as their finish cutoff is, the cutoffs up to the 50-mile point are actually fairly generous, which means even as a back-a-pack runner, you get to see most of the course, even if you do DNF. And I always appreciated that about that race. Like, go ahead and make the finish cutoff hard. That's fine. Let me see as much as I can as a back-a-pack runner.
I don't mind even cutoffs. I'm talking about cutoffs that literally want you to be the equivalent of 4 hours ahead of cutoff at the halfway point, because they're assuming you're going to lose 10 hours to your second half because you're going to death march.
Right.
And on courses where this is not a safety issue, there are plenty of road crossings in that second half where cars have lots of access and people can be removed conveniently. I understand pulling people a little early, going to something that is incredibly remote and high altitude, where if you're not ahead, we know what happens when you go up this mountain to 13,000. So no, we're not letting you. I get that, but this is not that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one in particular in my head that really frustrates me, that I was
all right, we're not asking anymore. Come on.
No, fourth from last in the beginning, and I finished middle of the pack because I don't go out too fast. And I was like, come on, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of good races out there with good cutoffs.
Yeah, that there are.
All right, Grayce, I'm going to be that person. It's wrap up time.
I know. I still have lots of questions. That's okay. I'm excited. Congratulations on your finish of the Divide 200. Thank you for starting the Women's 100 Miler project. And I think the other thing is about that is that you do grants because financial support is, and I think this is something that's interesting to talk about with hundreds, but it can be a barrier for some women, either because financially as a household or because it is really difficult if the woman is not the breadwinner in the family to then ask the breadwinner for that much money to support their crazy running habit that their spouse may not participate in. So that is a very cool piece of it. And if anybody wants to donate to the Women's 100 Miler Project, there's a website out there and you can donate to it. And it helps financially support women out there who need it to finish awesome things and go inspire other people. And you two inspire me a whole lot. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
I want to know what all the other questions were.
I have a lot.
Oh, well, we're here anytime.
All right. Well, thanks for being on. We greatly appreciate it, and good luck in this fall and winter and next year.
I don't think we're racing
next?
for the rest of the year. I think Bird 100 in January.
Indeed.
And then Drakensburg in April, and then Swiss Peaks.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Grayce, take us out.
Okay, thanks everybody. Follow and like and share with your friends and ask them to share with their friends. And tune in Mondays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time to talk about lots of other things about running and to look at Eric's beautiful smile every Monday. Look at it. There you go. That you're getting there. We're getting close to a smile. We'll get there one day, buddy. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Bye.